Hey, what's going on everyone? This is going to be Hybrid Network's review for Deadpool 2, a spoiler-free quick review just to let you guys know what we think of the film before we get into a spoiler-filled discussion on our Marvelite podcast this weekend. So as you guys know, Deadpool was one of the most successful films of 2016. It kind of broke the barriers on comic book films and made studios realize that R-rated comic book superhero movies could actually turn a profit and win over audiences, which is why we actually got Logan. That paved the way for films like that and some of the other darker films that we're seeing thus far. There was obviously a lot of expectation going into Deadpool 2, as we know that it would introduce the mutants like Cable, Domino, and lay the foundations of the X-Force, which is probably going to be the next film that we see Deadpool show up in. And there was also a lot of troubled production behind the scenes as director Tim Miller stepped away from the project after having disagreements with Ryan Reynolds over where to take this next film. And that's where David Leitch, the director of John Wick, came in to tell his version of Deadpool. So how did the end product ultimately turn out? Well, unfortunately, this film is nowhere near as good as the first, and it probably reminds me the most of a sequel like Kingsman 2, where basically they doubled down on everything for the first film but turned it up to 11 without adding any real new substance or things that were engaging or interesting into this new story. It features a fairly straightforward plot where the time-traveling mutant Cable has to go back in time to kill a young mutant before he ends up killing his own family, and that's where he crosses paths with Deadpool, Domino, and the rest of the X-Force. So in some ways, Cable is kind of the villain of the film, but there are some surprise reveals later on with other characters that you never saw coming. As with characters like Deadpool, obviously there are a lot of fourth wall breaking moments and jokes that are only things that a real audience would pick up on that are familiar with comic books and characters and even just Ryan Reynolds' career as an actor. There are tons of laughs in this film, but some jokes that do fall flat, and some surprising cameos actually that I don't think anyone really saw coming. As for the performances of the newcomers like Zazie Beetz and Josh Brolin as Domino and Cable respectively, I thought they did a fine job with what they had, but unfortunately both of them feel vastly underused and underdeveloped in this film, as they have essentially offhand references to their origins and power sets, so it makes things fairly confusing. Overall, Deadpool 2 is a fun ride, but something that doesn't really add any substance to the franchise, that it ultimately feels like a one-off film that you could see or you could probably skip and just watch the eventual X-Force movie. So I'd probably only recommend it if you loved the first movie and you want to see some more action with Deadpool and the new characters of the X-Force, but if you're on the fence about this movie, you'd probably be best avoiding it. Thanks guys for checking out our review, and like I said, we'll have tons of videos breaking down Easter eggs and spoilers from the film when it releases this weekend. If you guys got a chance to check out Deadpool 2 early, drop your thoughts down in the comments below, but keep it spoiler free. And for the latest updates on everything Deadpool and the Marvel Universe as a whole, be sure to subscribe to Hybrid Network. Thank you guys again for checking this video out. If you want to get even more updates from us, check out our social media platforms, our website for news and editorials, and if you want to see our content improve and help us out, donate to us on our Patreon and you can get exclusive rewards.